I've been testing Cinema Studio 2.0 by Higgsfield, and honestly, this feels less like using an AI tool and more like stepping into a virtual film set. So I think we can all agree, AI video tools have exploded recently. Every week there's a new platform claiming cinematic quality, filmmaking revolution, next-gen visuals. But most of the time, you generate a clip, it looks cool for 2 seconds, and then you realize you're not actually directing anything. You're just pressing a button and hoping for the best. But today, I want to show you something genuinely different. Let's start with the problem. Most AI video generators work like this. You type a prompt, maybe upload an image, click Generate, and you get a moving clip. Nice. But if you want consistency across shots, if you want characters that don't randomly change faces, if you want actual cinematic control, camera movement, pacing, emotion, storytelling, that's where things usually fall apart. And that's exactly the gap Higgsfield Cinema Studio 2.0 is trying to close. It is a standalone pro environment that simulates a physical film studio, giving you control over optics, physics, and motion. Now, AI filmmakers' favorite tool became even more unbeatable. A professional filmmaking has never been this accessible with Cinema Studio 2.0. Cinema Studio is designed with a hero frame first philosophy. By perfecting your still image before you animate, you ensure that lighting, composition, and character details are locked in. Cinema Studio 2.0 expands creative control beyond optics and motion, introducing scene interaction, structured storytelling, and character-level direction. When you click on Cinema Studio in the Higgsfield dashboard, you're taken into a workspace designed to feel less like a typical AI generator and more like a filmmaking environment. The layout is clean, dark, and cinematic, immediately signaling that this tool is focused on visual storytelling rather than casual image creation. So here's how my workflow usually goes. Step 1. I generate my base image, what Cinema Studio calls the hero frame. This is your anchor, your visual foundation. Everything builds from here. I'll type something like a slow-motion action moment, hero character mid-explosion jump, debris frozen in air, dramatic lighting, cinematic blockbuster style, dynamic composition, ultra-realistic detail. But then I refine it through the camera settings. Switching from an 8mm lens to a 50mm lens completely changes the feel. Wide and immersive versus tight and intimate. Adjusting aperture suddenly gives you creamy background blur or deep focus across the frame. This is where the tool stops feeling like AI magic and starts feeling like visual direction. Cinema Studio introduced deterministic control into AI video workflows, transforming generation into a structured cinematic process. It is a standalone pro environment that simulates a physical film studio, giving you control over optics, physics, and motion. Once your hero frame is generated and selected, the next step is to bring it to life by switching from image mode to video mode. This transition marks the shift from designing a still composition to directing motion and cinematic behavior. When you click on video mode, the interface adapts to animation controls. Your selected image now acts as the foundation for the shot. Instead of generating a completely new scene, Cinema Studio animates this existing frame, preserving its style, lighting, and overall aesthetic continuity. At this stage, the first major decision is camera movement. You choose how the virtual camera behaves within the scene. Options like dolly, pan, tilt, orbit, zoom, drone, static, and handheld define the visual language of the shot. A dolly in creates dramatic intensity. An orbit adds cinematic energy, while handheld introduces realism and urgency. Next comes speed ramp control. This determines how motion unfolds over time. Slow motion enhances drama and spectacle. Linear speed keeps things natural, and accelerated speed adds impact and adrenaline. Unlike traditional editing where speed changes happen later, here motion is generated with timing already baked into the animation. You can then select a genre preset. This subtly influences pacing, camera behavior, and movement style. Choosing action increases dynamic motion and intensity. Horror introduces slower, tension-filled movement, while spectacle emphasizes scale and cinematic grandeur. The genre acts like a directing style guide for the AI. If your scene involves people, you can activate the character system. This allows you to decide which characters appear, control their presence across shots, and assign emotional states. Emotions such as focused, angry, surprised, or calm influence facial expression and performance, adding storytelling depth to the animation. If you want to experiment with it yourself, you can try building your own cinematic sequences, test camera rigs, play with genres, direct characters. It's honestly one of the more interesting creative AI experiences right now. If you enjoyed this breakdown, let me know. I can test more AI filmmaking tools, compare results, build mini cinematic projects, or even create tutorials showing advanced workflows. And if you're already experimenting with AI video, tell me what you're using, because this space is evolving fast. Alright, that's it for this video. And remember, we're not just generating anymore, we're directing.